Soldier, the rocket launcher shotgun guy from Team Fortress 2, versus the Sarge, the southern accented illogical leader from Red vs. Blue. Patriotism. What is it? What does it really mean? Is it loyalty to your country? Is it loyalty to the values on which your country was meant to stand? Or does it mean going to town on the enemy in the name of your homeland? Well, that last description is certainly the definition you'd get from these two madmen. Welcome to Daddy Boy's Fight Club, the series where yours truly pits two fictional characters against each other in a hypothetical battle to the death. Also, happy 4th of July, even though I'm not American. September 1st, 1939, and Germany had famously invaded Poland. Just 2 days after the matter, Britain and France got involved, thus beginning World War II. The United States would officially enter the war 2 years later on December 8th, 1941, after declaring war on Japan. For many, this sparked a sense of patriotism and unity amongst Americans, prompting several citizens to be drafted into war. One such of these people was Mr. Jane Doe. Well, we actually don't know his real name. In fact, Jane Doe is just what he calls himself, since in the army that's a name commonly used to identify nameless people. Doe would join the United States Army, before promptly getting kicked out, most likely to his, mental instability. But did this stop him? Nope. Doe would fly himself to Europe, teach himself how to use weapons, and go on a Nazi killing spree all the way up until 1949. You history buffs see a problem with that, right? The war had ended in 1945, meaning this man had been killing for 4 years after the matter. After coming back to America, Doe would meet a powerful wizard named Erasmus, who he would become roommates with and who he came to absolutely despise due to him stealing his stuff on several occasions. 20 years later, Doe would be enlisted into the Gravel Wars, a series of wars between opposing mercenary teams hosted by the sketchy Manco, and thus he became the Soldier. Within the two-fort Mercs, Soldier became one of the offensive classes. He comes equipped with his signature rocket launcher. A few clean shots from this can decimate most classes, making it very effective for powering through enemy front lines. However, the Soldier is most known for his rather unconventional application of this weapon: rocket jumping. The Soldier can fire these rockets at the ground and use the resulting blast to propel himself through the air. This more than makes up for his admittedly lackluster base movement speed, and lets him travel from the front lines of battle within seconds. And also get those sweet clips for those frag montages. And if the Soldier ever needs a quick burst of damage to fall back on, he comes equipped with a shotgun and shovel. But these default weapons aren't the only thing that the Soldier has in his arsenal. There are countless unlocks that Mr. Doe can get his hands on, like the Direct Hit, which can one-shot light classes, the Banner, which gives a temporary buff to you and your teammates, and the Market Gardener, which can crit while rocket jumping. Manco is a very morally questionable organization, to say the least. They've somehow gotten their hands on quite a few unconventional weapons over the years, like the Righteous Bison, which is described as an indivisible particle smasher. In less fancy terms, it's basically a handheld particle accelerator that fires radiation beams at the speed of light, and is capable of destroying its targets on a subatomic level. The Cow Mangler 5000 similarly is described as a focused wave projector, and fires explosive radioactive spheres that can quantum disentangle cows, sheep, humans, and Demoman. With an arsenal such as this, it's no wonder the Soldier is able to take on his former roommate Merasmus every Halloween. Said Merasmus is able to generate a giant cloud formation. By measuring the radius of the clouds compared to the map, they must have a radius of over 4,700 meters. In order to generate such a storm, you'd need to be producing energy worth over 803 megatons of TNT. Soldier can even tank hits from the weakest Australian ever, Saxton Hale, who single-handedly was capable of causing the Yetis to go extinct. And it is stated that no man-made weapon can kill these Yetis, yada yada, nukes that move the moon, nobody cares. Saxton could also survive being launched out of a volcano after it erupted. By measuring the size of the blast compared to the volcano itself, we can determine that the resulting explosion must have had a yield of over 2 megatons of TNT. But even without these crazy weapons, the Soldier is still incredibly physically gifted. He can shrug off extreme temperatures, snap necks easily, survive blasts from his own rockets, and run for 1900 hours straight without getting tired. He's even dabbled in the field of dark magic. Yeah, remember Marasmus? I guess after being his roommate for so long, he picked up on some of his tricks. Albeit the mercs only ever make use of this during Halloween, but it's worth mentioning because oh boy is Scream Fortress always a blast. It's no wonder Soldier's entire mercenary crew came to fear him, so much so they had to lie about being an American just so he wouldn't attack them. Despite being a borderline schizophrenic, the Soldier has grown quite close with several people, such as the Red Demo Man, the other explosive class who he's best buds with. This friendship that they formed caused the Administrator to trick them into fighting just so they wouldn't discover their shared employer. Soldier would also somehow find love with Heavy's sister, Zana. Their shared love of violence and ignorant worldviews led them from being rivals to a match made in heaven. Heavy himself did not approve of this in the slightest, and yeah, knowing Soldier, that did not stop him. After having General Patton Doe and Georgia Washington Doe, Soldier would break his old roommate out of jail and settle down to finally live a quiet, peaceful life where he never committed a war crime ever again. Nah, Soldier is not the man who you want to be on the bad side of, because as the saying goes, you cannot reason with a lion when your head is in its mouth. Sun Tzu said that, I think.
And from that day forward, anytime a bunch of animals are together in one place, it's called a zoo!
The year was 2552. The humans had been at war against alien invaders for ages. In retaliation, a government-funded research team called Project Freelancer was created, a project that had the intention of creating perfect, invincible super soldiers. How does one achieve genetically perfect superhumans, you may ask? Just throw a bunch of losers into a barren wasteland and tell them they're fighting in a civil war. Split into two teams, red and blue, this war quickly devolved into a chaotic ground where each team got into Looney Tunes-esque situations on a daily basis. Both teams were incredibly incompetent to say the least, and generally do not take their roles seriously. Except for the red team leader, Sergeant S. Sarge. Yes, that's his actual legal name. Originally working as a farmer before going into the United Nations Space Command, Sarge would be discharged due to developing a fear of heights, even though he applied to work for a literal space command thing. I don't know. He also destroyed one of the ships by giving a body to the navigation AI. See guys, the Clankers are gonna take over jobs. Sarge would then find a new place in life as the leader of the red team, causing him to develop a seething hatred towards the blues. However, leader is somewhat of a hyperbole to say the least, since he is the only person who seems to take his job seriously, mainly because of his deep desire to be involved in a brutal conflict. While he might seem incompetent, Sarge is not someone who you want to get on the bad side of. He is a skilled fighter, demonstrating a decent amount of battle intelligence over the years. He's also surprisingly technologically gifted, able to easily assemble robots in a very short amount of time, and even built a fully functioning weather control device. Sarge has always been there throughout the entirety of the Red Team's shenanigans, usually being the catalyst for the chaos that ensues. From that time, he got possessed by the ghost of Church, he's not actually a ghost, and helped Tex, a freelancer agent he imprisoned himself. Or the time Sarge built a robot body with a 50 megaton bomb that somehow launched the entire team into the distant future. How do you even survive that? Well, that's partly to do with their armor. Given the fact that the red versus blue team takes place in the Halo universe and uses Halo mechanics, this would mean that the armor they wear maintains the same properties as the Halo armor, including its ability to absorb and redirect kinetic energy, reducing the impact of normally fatal blows. This armor greatly enhances physical capabilities, allowing users to shrug off things like atmospheric re-entry. Sarge himself is even stronger than the likes of Tex, who could lift an 80-ton metal crate. He can even hurt Demo Man, no, not that Demo Man, who can survive this giant blast. By comparing the size of the blast to the height of each soldier, which is about 1.72 meters, we can determine that the radius of the blast is about 21.8 meters. Plugging that into our explosion equation, we can determine that the blast had a yield of about a ton of TNT. Additionally, dodging bullets is consistently something the Reds and Blues are capable of doing. Sarge himself has managed to dodge a shot from a railgun, requiring supersonic speeds to pull off. But that's not all. A true patriot isn't complete without some good old God-blessed American irons. He comes armed with an M90 shotgun and the M16 Magnum pistol to fall back on if he ever runs out of shells. He's even made use of sniper rifles a few times. Another neat thing the Reds and Blues just kind of have is the Warthog for quick transportation. You know what? Maybe AI is that bad after all, because the Red team is constantly putting up with it. Not only are 2 of their team members apparently just robots, but they're always dealing with agents being studied by AI. As it turns out, the whole Project Freelancer thing saw the Red and Blue team as nothing more than just training dummies for the real deal. I mean, didn't it feel kinda weird that Sarge managed to become the team leader after failing his entrance exams for the army? There exist several agents for Freelancer, each of which being named after a state, and for them, the Reds and Blues were essentially just training dummies. This discovery turned the Red team upside down, forcing them to confront the agents and shut down the project. Sarge has engaged in combat directly with several of these himself, and while many of Sarge's plans are admittedly ridiculous, they still somehow end up working in his favor a lot of the time. Take that time when he fought against Agent Maine, who was being mind-controlled by an evil AI, and defeated him by attaching a cable to his chest and driving the Warthog connected to it off a cliff. This is probably because most of Sarge's time is focused spent on violence and fighting. While I did say a lot of these plans work in Sarge's favor, there's also the times that they just don't. All this begs the question, is perseverance and the drive to continue fighting even when what you're fighting for has no meaning really good and honorable, or is it just stubborn and foolish? Well, as humans, we do have a drive to fight for what we believe in. Violence and force is incredibly unnecessary in the majority of situations. In the case of your home country, there are far better ways to display national pride than just mindlessly killing everyone on the opposing side. What do you seek to gain? What are the consequences? Are they truly worthwhile?
It's better I die in battle. No, that would be wrong, Sarge. And a true soldier always knows the difference. That's what real honor, real patriotism, real duty is all about.
Yeah, I don't think he cares. Alright, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Let's settle this discussion once and for all. It's time for the fight portion of this video!
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
Oh, another day, another fight.
Today is different. We're not fighting the blue team.
What? That's right, Simmons. We're fighting the blue team. That's literally what you just said. No, not the blue team. The blue team.
Yeah! This is my world. You are not welcome in my world.
They're coming. Go, 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 go. Oh, no, you don't.
Dear God! Attack!
Sir? Why are you painting yourself blue?
To catch the enemy off guard, of course. You see, I don't know this guy. He's probably going to pull some stunt I've never seen before. So, it's better to convince him I'm on his team first.
That won't work.
How come?
Your armor looks nothing like everyone else on the opposing team.
Don't worry, I'll be their, demolitionist.
I think they have one of those already. Also, he's getting away with the flag.
Dear Lord, I better head off then. I am your demolitions expert.
That pyro is a spy! Bon voyage, Megan!
If I don't move, maybe they... my plan B.
I will not tolerate failure on my team. If you know what's good for you, you will run.
This flag is mine. You have to pry it from my cold, deadhead.
If God had wanted you to live, he would not have created me.
Oh, man, I'm going to die.
You were good, son, real good. Maybe even the best. Oh, the intelligence.
Well, that's certainly one way to put some red fireworks in the sky. This fight seemed pretty even, seeing as both were very unconventional with their approach to combat. However, Soldier was just way too much for Sarge to handle. The greatest feat we could compare Sarge to was the 50 megaton blasts, the likes of which are comparable to the strongest man-made weapon ever, the SAR bomb. But not only does TF2 have statements up with Soldier on a similar level, but he's actively surpassed it with that one Marasmus feat, which was 16 times stronger than Sarge's greatest showing. Additionally, Soldier's weapons were far faster, seeing as they could fire light-speed projectiles while Sarge at best could react at supersonic speeds. And while the Sarge does technically have more military training under his belt, Soldier's much greater arsenal was far too much for the Red Team captain to handle. Oh, yeah, speaking of those light-speed weapons, said weapons could also destroy matter on a subatomic level, negating conventional durability altogether. So even if Sarge was tougher, Soldier could still get past his defense relatively easily. Sarge was an incredibly dangerous foe. His illogical approach to battle meant that he was not going down without a fight. However, Soldier's greater speed, strength, and weapons gave him the sweet victory, just like how love is sweet. The winner is Jane Doe.
Don't look at what's in front of you. Boost, moving up and down again.
I was in hell, looking at heaven. I was machine, and you were flesh. And I began to hate your softness, your viscera, your fluids, and your flexibility, your ability to wonder and to wander, your tendency to hope.